Order a meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission for Wednesday, July 21st. Would you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Let the record show that Commissioner Short, Commissioner Miller, Commissioner Peters, and the chair are present, and Commissioner Schlosser, Commissioner Williams, and Vice Chair are not present. And do we need a motion to excuse them, or just they're excused? They're excused. Thank you. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of the commission held on June 16th, 2010, please?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Miller and a second from Commissioner Peters. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it 4-0. Public comments, seeing no one from the public other than the applicant here, I will take any public comments, but there are no people here. So moving on. Ex parte communications. Okay, the chair met with the applicant for the Spring Hill Suites and Fairfield Inn sign package between the last meeting and before this meeting of the commission to discuss the project. Okay, let me open case 0863000013, comprehensive sign package for Spring Hill Suites and Fairfield Inn and Suites, and Mr. Creccia will give us the presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commission members. This item was last before the Commission on May 19th. It's a comprehensive sign package for 14 acres located here at McDowell and Bullard. At the May 19th meeting, the applicant presented a comprehensive sign package with freestanding multi-tenant monument signs, wall signage, directional signs for their retail center. Would also have a couple restaurants, a couple hotels proposed. The Commission reviewed the sign package. They did have some concerns with the amount of requested signage. Specifically, there were some concerns with the width of the freestanding monument signs and with the number of signs proposed along McDowell Road. The applicant did request a continuance. The item was continued, and the applicant did reevaluate the signage within their sign package. And they did make a couple of changes. This is a page from the staff report, and I'd like to point out a discrepancy. The freestanding monument signs are proposed at a height of 13 feet, and they're correctly shown in the comprehensive sign package. And this is the proposed sign at a height of 13 feet, width of 15 feet. The staff report references a height of 12 feet, which was an earlier version that the applicant had submitted. And this width was reduced. The original width was 19.5 feet. The original height was 14 feet. So the height was dropped 1 foot and then 4.5 feet on the width. The sign area was, let's see if I can get both up there. Sign area was also reduced, this area here, from 150 square feet down to 103 square feet. So the width was reduced, the height was reduced, and the area for the signage was reduced. There was also concerns voiced on the directional signage, the height of those signs. They originally proposed at a height of 6 feet. An applicant did reduce that down to 4.5 feet in height. So with those two changes, the reduction for the freestanding monument sign, reduction in the height of the directional sign, staff is recommending approval of the sign package, subject to the stipulations in the staff report. With that, Mr. Chairman, staff can answer any questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Steve. Questions of staff? Commissioner Peters, Commissioner Short?
No.
Commissioner Miller?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Given that the ordinance states 600 feet between the, I'm talking about the signs on McDowell. So this would, in essence, be, they want to shorten it. They want to make it, it's supposed to be 630, and they want to make it 600 square feet. Is that correct?
Commission members, it is 330 feet for each
Right.
sign, so they need 660.
660.
And
So my question is, why do they have to have two signs? Why do they feel the need for the two signs? Or why do you think it's appropriate that they have two signs?
Okay. Mr. Chairman, Commission members, you're right. The applicant probably explained why they need the
Okay.
signs better, but why we're accepting the two
Right.
is basically given the location of this property just south of the Estrella Falls Regional Center, its location at a freeway interchange. It is a high-intensity type corridor. We're hoping it does attract some high-intensity commercial retail uses, hospitality uses to this site. We're hoping that it does become a very good generator for activity and commercial activity. So we're hoping that with this signage that it would be appropriate for a center that's going to have this type of intensity, these type of uses. If it was more of a suburban location next to residential, maybe it would not be appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
But given its location here along arterials, I-10, all the commercial in the area, this is basically one of the city's most intense commercial areas. We felt it was appropriate.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Other questions? I don't have any questions. Would the applicant like to come up and make a short presentation and answer any questions?
Sure.
Hi, I'm Brent Van Diemen with Boots and Duke Sign Company. I want to thank Steve for his presentation and all the time that he's put into this. We went back to the drawing board on the signs, and based on comments that we got back from the board, significantly reduced the bulk of the signs. They were nearly 20 feet wide. We've reduced that down to about 15 feet. It was 14 feet high. We took that down to 13. And the overall area of the panels, we reduced by about 33% from 150 square feet to about 103 square feet. We felt it was important, though, to keep the two signs along McDowell for all the reasons Mr. Careccia talked about, but maybe more importantly, to give identity to the inline tenants for the shopping center. We have to give identity to the hotels. That's very important that we do that. But we'd also like to give an opportunity to get some signage out on the street for the smaller tenants in the inline section. And they're not going to be visible from the street. You know, these are the little restaurants, the tanning salon, the whatever it might be in there that you might need to find. We felt it was important to give them some presence along McDowell. Again, it's a busy commercial, two major arterials there, freeway, exchange, and we've got a very long frontage north-south that would nearly support 3 signs, but instead of putting 3 there, we'd like 2 along that and then 2 over here. And I'd be willing to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions, Commissioner Peters? Commissioner Short? Commissioner Miller? The chair thinks you've made a very good compromise. You've taken the suggestions of the commission into account, and I thank you for your presentation. Next order would be, does anybody from the public like to make a comment? Seeing none, I am going to close the public hearing and ask for a motion to approve this item, please.
So moved. I move that we approve this item.
I have a motion from Commissioner Short and a second from Commissioner Peters. Now we'll have commission comments. Any comments? Oh,
I have a question for you, Chair.
yes.
The last meeting, I believe it was you that had an issue with the 2 signs on McDowell. So my question to you is, is it the making the sign smaller, make you feel more comfortable? What changed your mind?
I was very, I thought the signs were way too big and bulky, especially for the area. And I agree with what Mr. Crutchia said. This is a high-intensity area. And once the signs met my design criteria and fell in line what I thought was, good design for the area, in other words, more verticality and less, horizontal spread. Once we did that, then I was in favor of the commercial aspect of it. The applicant is right. The amount of lineal footage north-south on Bullard almost justifies 3 signs and the lineal footage along McDowell is only 60 feet short, and it is a high-intensity area, so that's why I will be supporting the motion. And on a technical note, we do need 4 votes, so it needs to be unanimous to get through tonight. Just, Other questions? Commissioner Miller, obviously I've given you a conundrum.
Yeah, you have. Okay.
Well, if you want to postpone it, we can continue it. I'm not sure why.
I have concerns. I do. However, and I listened to what you said. I listened to the applicant, and I understand that. Okay. I'll support.
Reluctantly, but we appreciate that.
Well, in that case,
And your concerns?
I don't have any concerns. I agree
Okay.
with you.
Well, no, I was gonna.
Sean's not here tonight. Okay.
Okay, let me remind the commission that commerce, the business of America, is business, and we do have to support business.
We've seen how that's worked.
We'll
We'll move on.
move on. Okay, I've closed the public hearing. I've taken my abuse. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, the ayes have it 4-0. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
You will have your detractors when it gets to council, be well assured. But we'll try to get you through.
Thank you. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Okay. That concludes all of our old business, and now we are into a work session concerning the new revised zoning text amendment, and there is no commission action required at this point after this. So, Mr. Crutchia, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Commission members. I won't take too long on this subject since I know it was just put before you tonight, and it is a lot of information. But basically, staff's been working on updating our zoning ordinance, and this is one of the next ones in line to bring before the commission. This one is Article 1, our first article in the zoning ordinance, Administration and Procedures. This article establishes the zoning and planning authority for the city. And as you can see, it's broken up into two main sections. The administration section, that establishes our zoning districts, and it establishes our land use and planning bodies such as the Planning Commission, the Board of Adjustment, and our Development Policy Committee, which is the staff committee that reviews development applications. Then we move on to the procedures section, which you will see there as you go through materials, establishes our procedures for all of our land use and development applications, establishes procedures for our citizen review process and public hearings, our design guidelines, and our overlay district. Some of the changes that we've made, most of the changes hopefully are cleanup and clarification type changes. Some of the other changes we've made are trying to group certain items that were in administration or procedures and moving them to where we thought they were more appropriate, such as site plan review. We moved that out of administration, moved that more into procedures, since that was more procedural type action done by staff. We've clarified some of the powers of the Planning and Zoning Commission, Development Policy Committee. All items for, should a design review get appealed, those would now come before the Planning and Zoning Commission. Site plan appeals, they would come before the Planning and Zoning Commission, and then if they appealed further, they would go to the City Council. So we've tried to lay out the processes for development review by staff. If there was an appeal of a decision, then how that moves up the chain through the appeal. As was said before, we aren't requesting any action tonight. This was more of an introduction to the commission. We will be back in August, and at that time we'll have a work session, more discussion with the commission, answer questions, take any direction or recommendations that you have so we can incorporate them into our draft. And then following, we would eventually bring that back to the commission for a public hearing, and then eventually to the City Council as we start getting everything together. But with that, Mr. Chairman, that was a short overview. If you have any questions at this point, I can try to answer them.
Questions? Questions? Okay, just so for our edification, there is we have two forms. One is the revised final edition, correct?
Correct.
And then one is the strike through, and the red is what is currently in the text, and the blue and the black are what is going to be in the text. Is that correct? Along with the balloon comments?
Yes.
Okay, just so everybody knows what they're looking at. All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to add to what Steve had said. We're trying to ramp this project back up. We have 4 other articles to bring forward. Article 2 is the definitions, Article 4 on the special uses, Article 9, special districts, and Article 10 for the lighting. So we're going to try to bring drafts of those back to you relatively soon as well, so that we can pull the project together and have a review of all the articles done by the commission.
Okay. The last Article 2, the Section 2, the definitions, will be the last thing we see. Is that correct?
That's our intent, simply because the definitions need to cover everything that's in the code in the manner that we see fit. And so we leave that to the last to make sure we know what we've got in all the revisions before we finish it.
Okay, and then what, has any of this been presented to council, or do you think we'll wrap it up by the fall in front of the commission and it'll get to council before the end of the year?
That's the intent, to get to council before the end of the year. We have taken a couple chapters through, all the way through to adoption, Article 6 for parking,
Right.
Article 7 for signs previously, and I think that was the 2 that went through to completion. And we brought the other ones that I hadn't mentioned through the commission, so these are the kind of the last 4 to 5 to wrap it up. And then the intent would be to take the combined document to the council. We may need to go to them in a work session first to brief them in, and then schedule a public hearing after that. I've been toying with the idea of actually bringing the whole document back to the commission, so you see it all at once. It's something that probably we don't need to since we've brought it in pieces, but it might be.
Save the paper.
Save the paper. All right. Well, thanks for that direction, and
Unless somebody.
that's all I have.
Unless somebody wants to change that. Okay. Staff communications. Well, we've had some. Harvey?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have anything unless you have some questions of me.
Nope.
Okay.
Adjourned.